Well guys, welcome back to Adam's Fishing. I've got a short evening session. It's the middle of December, and even though you've seen a little bit of sunshine, it's not giving off. Just wait for that car to go past. It's not giving off very much heat at all, so it is chilly. I've got a nice warm hat and a scarf to put on. It's not raining, that's one thing. The water looks like it might have a little bit of ice on it, but as I always say, you've got to be in it to win it. So I'm going to load this stuff onto my back and head down to the lake. Alright guys, I haven't got much time because I'm racing the light as usual, but I just thought I'd stop for a moment just to show you the lake behind me. And there she is. I'm heading down that far end there where it's a little bit deeper and it gets the winter sun for a little bit longer than anywhere else on the lake, and that's where I think my best chance of snagging a carp is going to be. Really hope I can get at least one today. Alright, well I've made it down to the swim that I've chosen for this session. I'm absolutely sweltering despite the cold. Lugging that gear down here really does take it out of me, so I've hung my big coat up on the chair there. And nothing out of the ordinary in terms of tactics for this session, guys. Winter, you know, middle of December. Is it winter yet? I'm not sure. It certainly feels like it. Probably not the best time to be trying out newfangled things, so I'm going to be going with my tried and tested snowman rigs on two rod rule here, even in the winter. And I'm going to ping those out with a little PVA mesh bag, just masking the hook point for the cast. So I'm going to start getting things set up and ready to go, because even though it's only 2:45, we probably haven't got that much daylight left. Just thought I'd show you this, guys. What I'm using for bait is a right old mixed bag of mainly candy nut crush boilies from Nash Bait in 15mm, but there's also some squid and krill in there, and a few coconut creams thrown in for good measure. Using a mixture of different boilies hasn't, I don't think, done me any harm in the past. And what I'm aiming to do really is use these up. I've still got quite a few of them left at home, and then perhaps try something a little bit different based on suggestions from some other club members who have had some real success on the other lakes with the CC Moore baits. So I think I might give that a try. I've got a bag of what's the one called now? They have the Pacific tuna and the live system. That's it. I've got a bag of the live system at home in the freezer, which I haven't taken out yet because I figured I'd work my way through these over the winter. And then try them out as the weather starts to improve. So what I'm going to do with these is just empty a few handfuls into my little pop-up bucket here, as you can see, and then I'm just going to whack some of this manila flavoured let me put my teeth back in, manila flavoured cloudy liquid on top of them, just for a little bit of extra attraction. Obviously no plans to put out loads of bait on this session, but I always like to put out a handful or two over the top of where my rigs are. So I'll let them just sort of permeate in that liquid for a little while, sound like a chef, and then I can catapult them out when I'm ready. Now, I know some of you are going to say I'm totally mad, but I always like to have a little bit of bait out there to fish over the top of. So now I know where I'm going to be fishing, and there was no rocket science here, guys. I fished here before, so I knew roughly where I wanted those rods to be going anyway. Middle part of the lake out there is a little bit deeper. It's a little bit of a bowl there, so that's where I've got my rods clipped up to, and I'm just going to use the old catapult, and I am just going to put out couple of handfuls of boilies. I'm not going to go mad, don't worry, but I think I just feel that little bit more confident if I've got something out there for them to sniff out. So a couple of catapults, let's see how I get on. All right, guys, well, that's some boilies out there at least. I haven't gone mad, honestly. It's probably just a handful, 2 handfuls over where each rig will be. So not a lot of boilies at all. And as I was washing my hands off just in the margins here, that cloudy liquid really does give a nice plume of sort of attraction. So I really hope that it hangs around for a little bit in and around where I'm fishing to draw those probably quite lethargic fish into the area. It's very still today, so hopefully it will just be hovering in and around those baits. Time to get some actual hook baits in the water, so I'm going to dig those out of the bag and I'll show you what I'm doing. Alright guys, well, for those who have watched before many times, I apologise. I'm going to be showing something that you've probably already seen 100 times. It's my favourite rig, my snowman rig for carp fishing. Reason I'm showing it here is it might be somebody's first time watching and they might be interested to find out. So if you've already seen my snowman rig a zillion times, then just fast forward this little bit. It'll only take a minute. So down to my little impromptu table, which is my chair. Barbless rig wallet here because it's barbless rules on this lake. I've just selected out 4 rigs here. And reason being is 2 will go straight out and 2 I'll just keep held back just in case there's a need for a recast at any point in the near future. So I'll just show you one of these. You don't want to see me make up all 4. Here's the rig itself, which is called a N-Trap semi-stiff coated braid. There's about 8 inches here. There's a figure 8 loop knot at this end with a anti-tangle sleeve coming down to, stripped back for the last centimetre or so, a Nash Fang X hook in size 8, I believe here, and a fairly long hair. And what I do is I just put one of these gummy float stops on there. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little gummy float stop on there, and that just enables me to butt the 2 baits, because I'm making a snowman rig here, the 2 baits up against each other and keep them up against each other. It works for me. I know there's lots of other ways of doing it, but it works for me. So what I need is a baiting needle out of my little bait box here, and to begin with I've got here one of those Candy Nut Crush Nash bait bottom baits. Nothing special, just straight out of the bag. I'll just feed the baiting needle through, take my hair and slide that bottom bait on first, and then take one of these, which at the moment is a Manila 12mm pop-up. I'm not too fussy about flavours and brands and that kind of thing. If it works, and hopefully it will, then it works. So that just goes on top of the bottom bait, as you can see there. Now, should have got these out in advance, but in here somewhere I've got some... I'll have to do a bit of editing there because it took me ages to get this hair stop out. I'm a little bit disorganised because I've had a couple of pike fishing sessions recently, and obviously the tackle changes quite a bit. But you can see there, hopefully, my snowman presentation. It should sit up just off of the deck like this with the hook flat on the lake bed, balances out like that, and fairly straightforward and simple to do. The last thing I do before casting out is I just pop off, one sec, I just pop off the anti-tangle sleeve for a second, take a straight baiting needle, and then I just take one of these little tiny mesh bags that I've made up. It's got all sorts of crumb and goodies in there. Oh, fish just rolled. And poke that through the bag and feed on to the hook. And what I do is I just pull the hook into the bag, so there's no chance of that rig tangling. Sorry, some of that was off camera then, wasn't it? There we go. And then of course all that's left to do is put the anti-tangle sleeve back on. I've just spotted a couple of ducks having a field day over those few boilies that I put out, so I don't think they're going to be in the swim for very long at all. But that's the finished rig. What I do is give that a dunk in some glug, and then it will be attached to, I'll just show you this quickly. It's a lead clip system. It's a Corda hybrid quick change clip, tail rubber, and a nice long length of anti-tangle heavy tubing there. And I just use a 2.5 ounce pear lead for this setup. And obviously the rig just clips on, and then I pull the anti-tangle sleeve just over the quick change clip there to keep everything in place. Right, enough rabbiting. I'm going to get these ready to cast out and actually cast them out. Right guys, well I think I just saw a carp roll. Oh, I did see a carp roll, just did it again. Not a million miles from where my hook baits are, so fingers crossed. The fact that I'd seen one and I hadn't really seen anything up until now has really boosted my spirits a bit. So they're not completely motionless out there. There's a chance of catching one. Especially now I'm all set up. I've got both baited rigs out there on the lake bed. If the ducks haven't eaten at all, a few free offerings around them. I've got the rods on their rests, reels on the bait runners, bobbins clipped on, alarms on. And now's the time just to soak in the atmosphere. It is chilly. I've started to cool down now, so I'm going to put my big coat on in a sec. I brought a flask of coffee, and I've also just got some water here as well, just to keep me going. I haven't brought a stove or anything like that. Just a quick sort of in and out session. I'd like to say I'll hang on for as long as it takes to catch one, but I've no idea how long that will take. So by the time it gets to about 9:30, 10 o'clock, I am really going to need to be taking off. I've got a very early start tomorrow as well, so I can't stay out here late. But I'm in with a chance. It's not raining, it's fresh, a bit of fresh air, and the best hobby in the world, a bit of fishing. There you go, guys. It may be officially night time. It's 5:15. The moon is out and it's pretty well dark. Really cool to be out here though. I've got the whole lake to myself and it's absolutely magic. Okay guys, well I've been fishing for about an hour and a half now. Not a single bleep from either of the rods. I did see that one fish roll, but haven't really seen any other signs of fish at all or heard anything. A couple of ducks on the far bank there having a whale of a time. Keep jumping in and out of the water, making me look up thinking it's a fish, but it's just the ducks. It's dead calm, dead still. It's dark, but it's actually not too dark because the moonlight is giving me a little bit of light. Plus, of course, I've got my rechargeable work light here. I don't keep that on all the time though. I'll turn that off in a sec when I finish filming this little bit. I've got a nice flask of coffee. Run out of milk at home, unfortunately, so it's black coffee, which I don't normally do, but I don't mind it too much. And as I said before, it really is just excellent to be out here. So hope I manage to catch a carp for me and for you guys as well, just so we can see a fish. It's been a while, hasn't it? But oh, little bleep from my right hand rod then, but superb to be out here whatever happens. It's been a pretty manic couple of weeks with home and running the kids here, there and everywhere and doing the odd Christmassy thing. Went ice skating last weekend and yeah, it's all just been a bit full on. Work's been full on. I've been working to a very tight deadline. I was lucky to manage to get a couple of hours off today actually to come out here when I did. But yeah, it's been quite high pressure. The cool thing about fishing is when you're out here and you're just waiting for that bite, you leave it all behind. And it's just about you and the lake. And hopefully the fish, if they turn up. That bleep on the right hand rod then is the first sign of any sort of activity out there near where I'm fishing. So hopefully it's not the last sign. Just need a nice screaming take now and a big fat carp. That'd just be awesome. I've got some stuff queued up on Netflix to watch, and given that it's pretty much going to be dark, I think that's the best thing I can do while I wait. Don't intend to try reeling in and recasting. Apart from that one bleep then, there's no sign that anything out there has necessarily happened. And I think as it gets cold as it is now this time of year, you've got to kind of wait and give it a chance. And as I say, it's only been an hour and a half now, so hey, it's early days yet. Every chance of a bite. I'm going to stick it out until, I don't know, 9:30, 10 o'clock. And carp gods willing, one of these fish will pay me a visit between now and then. Wouldn't that be cool? Anyway, gonna drink my coffee, watch a little bit of Netflix and chill. Well guys, what about that then? I wasn't going to weigh her at first, but then when I saw the frame of this fish, I just had to. 12.5 pounds of muscle packed mirror carp. An absolute beauty, perfect mouth, lovely dorsal fin that you may have seen before. An absolutely cracking fish any time of the year, but especially in the middle of December. I'm absolutely blown away. Made up with this one. Let me show you the other side of her. What a cracking fish. Look at the gut on that fish. I think it's been scoffing all of those boilies from us winter anglers. and is really in great condition. What an absolute perler. Overjoyed to catch this one. Really overjoyed. I'm going to have to slip her back, give you one last look. What a capture. I'm over the moon. Magic. Well, what about that then, guys? I'm so excited to show you the fish. I didn't really tell you much about it. It's only 5:45, so I didn't have to wait that long. I had a single bleep on my left-hand rod, and then I turned my head torch on and just was looking at the bobbin, and nothing was happening. And then all of a sudden, it just pulled up and then started ripping line off the reel. And I thought, that is definitely a fish. So connected to the fish, and it felt reasonably heavy, even at the sort of distance that I'm fishing, but then it kited really hard round to the left, and it really wanted to get its head into this tree and the roots that are down here. So I had to walk down the bank a bit and give it the old side strain, and luckily, even though I felt a little bit of grating, it came out, so it only just brushed the edge of the danger zone. And then I slotted the net under the fish first time of asking, and felt that enormous relief at having caught one. Then I sorted the rod out and lifted the net up to look at the fish, and realised that actually it was quite a decent fish. I mean, I know it's not a monster by everyone's standards, but to me, anything in double figures is a bloody good fish, and that's a double figure fish. I wasn't going to weigh it, but when I saw the frame of it, real fat, like round mirror with it was perfect. It was fin perfect, which is, well, perhaps a little bit unusual for this lake, actually, because they do get hammered over the summer, and sometimes they can look a little bit, you know, beaten up. But this one was really in good nick. The mouth was perfect, lovely fins, and yeah, when I saw it, I thought I'm going to have to give that away. So yeah, I got the old weigh sling out, and it came in at 12.5 pounds, which is one of the bigger fish that this lake has to offer, I'm sure, and really, really chuffed to have caught it. Absolutely made up with it, to be honest. What I've done is re-baited and recast that rod, but if I'm honest, I was still a little bit shaky from having caught a fish, and the cast didn't go very well. I've got kind of half a feeling that I might have crossed my two lines over each other out there, which is not a great situation to be in. So I think I'm probably going to have to bring them in and redo them properly, so that I know that they're in the right place and they're not all tangled up out there. So yeah, a little lesson learned there. It pays not to be too hasty on the recast, especially when the old adrenaline's pumping. But my goodness, was it pumping. Absolutely chuffed to bits. I've got some half decent photos, even though it's dark. In the video, you might notice that the fish, when I'm holding it up, is only just at the bottom edge of the screen. So if you're watching in lots of like ultra wide mode, then if you pinch it so that your YouTube screen becomes a little bit smaller, you might be able to see more of the fish in there. Sorry, it's just the way that my camera was angled, or my phone camera was angled. When I got the bite, when I got that first bleep, I had my phone in my hand, and I was just scrolling through listening to content creator music for YouTube for this very video, actually. Anyway, one bleep was all it took. The phone went flying out of my hand, landed on a stone, and I've gone and cracked the screen. But luckily it's a screensaver. I have one of those Gorilla Glass screensaver things, and I think it's only got that, so no great shakes. But whew, I'm going to have a cup of coffee. I'm going to chill for 5 minutes, gather my thoughts, and then yeah, probably I'm going to have to redo at least that left hand rod, because yeah, it didn't go in the right direction, really, to be honest. I think probably out there on the lake bed I've got two lines crossed over each other, which is probably going to be bad news if I get another bite. So it's still only relatively early. It's just coming up for 6 o'clock. I'm gonna carry on. I've got some time, so I'm gonna carry on and see if I can't catch another one. Wouldn't that be good? Well guys, I was just starting to think it was going to be a one-hit wonder this session, just before 8 o'clock, and this time the right hand rod is absolutely melted off and I've connected to what turned out to be a really special looking carp. I think she might flap a bit, but what an absolute perler. I'm sure you'll agree. That scale pattern, beautiful. And this is another mirror carp in excellent condition. Fantastic. I did weigh her just over 9.5 pounds, so didn't quite make the double figures. Not as big as the last fish, but heck, I'm not complaining when they look as good as this. What a magical creature. Let me show you the other side of this one. Just as good. And there's the other side. A truly beautiful fish. Absolutely magic. Just over 9.5 pounds. I'm blown away. So glad I made the effort to come out this evening and fish into darkness on this very chilly mid-December session. It's just started thinking about raining, so I'm going to slip this fish back and get that rod recast. Why not? Absolutely magic. Well guys, you join me back in the car after lugging all my kit back and loading it in the boot. I'm absolutely shattered, but man am I happy. Two beautiful carp, couple of really good ones, decent size, really good condition fish. I am made up, absolutely cock hoots. Just to be clear guys, I'm not at the Quiet Lake. My mirror mission on the Quiet Lake, I think I'm probably going to wait until I've got a bit of a longer session to get back on there. I don't think my tactics of sort of quick hit sessions are going to be the one on that lake. It is really quite tricky, especially in winter. No, I've come down to the smaller club lake where the fishing is a little bit easier. I don't really like to say it's ever easy because you're sort of tempting fate, aren't you? But it is a little bit easier, and there's a better stock of fish, and it's got better winter form. And well, it's come good for me today because I've had a lovely couple of fish and a lovely session. It's been brilliant. It's only just 9:15, so I got out of there a little bit earlier than I'd expected. But after I returned that second fish, the weather really changed. It started raining more and more heavily, and then the wind started. And I think we're probably catching the tail end of a storm, which has hit other parts of the country. So it's probably a good job I'm out of it and back in my car. Right, I'm going to saddle up, drive myself home, and get showered and to bed. If you've joined me for this session, thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. And hopefully I'll see you out on the bank again really soon. Cheers.